all of these programs I'm showing you have so many flags and so many different ways that you can use the tool. And I am showing you the 1% of like the surface areas of these tools, right? So I'm sure if I go in here to make dir and I say help, there's a bunch of different things that I'm not showing you, right? So I showed you the -p one because that's one I use a lot, but you know, I'm not showing you verbose mode. I'm not showing all these different modes as well. So keep in mind that all of these different tools have more power than what I'm showing you. So let's talk about touch. So this is everything I have in here in this directory. I'm going to say touch my new file .txt, and what touch does is if the file doesn't exist, it creates it. So if I go in here and look now, you can see I have a my new file, and this was created at 1342 right there, right? Now if the file already exists, it updates its last modified time. So I don't know if it's been enough time. It hasn't. So, but if I waited like another minute or two and I did touch again on the same file, what it would do is it would change the modified time. It doesn't do anything else to the file, it just updates the modified time. That can be useful sometimes because you'll have scripts that go in and say like, hey, if this file has been modified, it means it's time to run the script again. So you can kind of use that as like a time check. You'll see that a lot. So let's see if I can do that again and say, you can see right there, this is now 1343, whereas up here it was 1342, right? So it changes that modified time. Okay, so that's touch. Now let's say we wanted to get rid of my new file. How would we do that? One of them is remove. So rm my new text file, like that. And now if you go in here and look, it's not there anymore. So that's what rm is, remove. Be extremely careful with how you use rm. Because if you use rm in the incorrect way, you can delete your entire computer. Or you can at least delete Linux until it deletes something so critical that it can't run anymore. Let's say I wanted to remove my folder. If I say remove my new folder, it's going to say it's a directory. I don't remove directories. So in order to remove a directory, you have to say rm-r my new folder. And that's how you remove it. But if I say make directory lol and I go into and I touch a file in here, and I say rm-r now of lol, it's going to, oh, it didn't have a problem with that. Huh, interesting. Okay. So frequently it'll ask you, oh, it's because they're empty files. So anyway, frequently you'll see F put on here as well, which stands for force. And it's basically saying, hey, I'm about to move a bunch of files and I don't want you to ask me about it, right? Otherwise it'll go through and it's like, are you sure you want to delete this file? Do you want to delete this file? Do you want to delete this file? And if you're trying to remove like a node modules, which has like 10,000 files in it, you don't want to be asked that 10,000 times. So that's why people will put the F in there. And the -r allows you to delete directories, which stands for recursive delete. So a lot of times you'll see people just say rm-rf, whatever they're trying to delete. I just want to again throw out, this is a scary command to run because unlike when you move things to like the recycle bin, if you make a mistake with then, you can just pull it out of the recycle bin. When you rm something, it's gone. It's legitimately gone. You cannot recover from it. Just be aware that you are permanently deleting something. There is a package, which I'll show you how to install packages later, called trash, and a lot of people will switch to trash, and that way it works more similar to how your operating system or like Mac OS or Windows works, where there is a temporary trash directory that's emptied every 30 days or something like that. It's a good idea to install that. When I remember to try and do that. But yeah, just be aware you are permanently deleting things. And I'm just going to throw out there rm-rf star. We'll talk about star here in a second. This is going to delete everything, right? Or a star, or slash, right? Just be aware that, like, I haven't done that, but there's plenty of funny stories out there of engineers that have actually accidentally run that, and it starts deleting their entire computer. Like, Linux is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. If you tell it to delete everything, it's going to be like, okay, and it'll go try and delete itself. So just be aware of that. Cool. So that's rm. That's another useful command for you to have in your tool belt. And again, there's a lot more stuff to rm than just what I've shown you. There's a lot. There's like the interactive one. There's a bunch of stuff. Cool. Let's talk about copy. So I have textfile.txt there. If I want to copy, I can say cp text file, so the source file, to destination file. And now you'll see I have two files, textfile.txt and destination file.txt. That's what copy does, is it copies for you. I use that one all the time. And by the same thing, if I say copy dash, let's see, is it capital R, dash capital R, hi to by, right? Now, if I look inside of here, I have a by directory. And inside of that by directory, right, and now I have a directory called by with my name as Brian inside of it, because it copied everything inside of hi. So that dash capital R for copy means recursive as well. So normally dash R, or either lowercase or uppercase r, means recursive. It means do it to not only this file, but every file inside of it. That's not always true, but it's kind of a rule of thumb that people kind of adhere to. And let's talk about move. So there's MV, which stands for move, and it makes sense that it was called move, but for me, it's more rename. That's because I think of things more in terms of, like, I want to rename this from this thing to this other thing, and so you use MV for that. So I'm going to move, let's say I'm going to move by to something else. And so now you'll notice that I don't have by anymore. I've renamed the by directory to something else. And that works just as well for files as well. So if I move destination file to another file, there you go. So MV, that's another one to keep in mind. And then let's get into tar. So frequently you want to move a bunch of files all at once, whether that's like uploading a file to the server or really anything that you would use a zip file for. Linux has a file format called tar, which is kind of similar to zip files. Zip files are inherently compressed, whereas a tar file is not necessarily inherently compressed. A tar file can just be a bunch of files kind of globbed together that's meant to be extracted later. And yeah. Tar is one of those things that I always have to look up because I can never remember all the flags that I need for it. But let's just make a directory, call it folder 1. I'm going to go into folder 1 and I'm going to make a bunch of files. So I'm going to touch file 1, file 1.txt, file 2.txt, file 3.txt, file 4.txt. That's the thing about touch, is you can use them many times at once. Okay, so now I have multiple files in here. And let's say I have folder 1 and text file that I wanted to put into one file so that I could like move them, right? I can move them from this computer to this computer or something like that. I can do tar-cf archive, or whatever you want to call it, .tar, and I'm going to add text file.txt, and I'm going to add folder1 to it as well. And now if you look in here, I have this archive.tar, and it's 12 kilobytes. That's because I put 3 4 kilobyte files into it, so it's one 12 kilobyte file. So I did C and F, and that puts all the things into a single file. However, it's not compressed, right? So for the most part, when you put things into an archive, you want them to be compressed so it's smaller. The trade-off being that you have to like process it so it's smaller, but at this point that's cheap. You always want to compress your files. So if I do the same command, and I'm going to put a Z at the end of this, so CFZ, and then at the end of the tar I'm going to put .gz, that stands for gzip. So sometimes these flags are important what order you give them as well. So in this particular case I had to get the Z flag first. But now if I go look at, I have archive.tar, this one has not been compressed, 12 kilobytes, and then this one, archive.tar.gz, has been compressed, and you can see that it's 4 kilobytes. So in other words, as you can see here, I can never remember all the flags and what order they're supposed to go in for tar, so I always have to look this up. But now I have this tar file, and I can extract it whenever I want. So I'm going to, make a directory here, extracted, and I'm going to move my archive.gz into extracted. Okay, so now I'm going to go into extracted, and I'm going to say tar-xzf, the archive file, and some folder. And this probably needs to be first. Man, what went on with this? So I have my archive file. Oh, -C into destination. Make dir destination. Okay. Again, this is a tool that I always have to fight with because there's so many flags and you have to get them all right. So I had to do tar-xzf, which is, this is how you extract an archive, right? You have to tell it which archive to extract, and then you have to do a -C to let them know the destination. And the destination has to exist. If it doesn't exist, it will not create it for you. But now if I look inside a destination, you can see that I have the folder there, the text file, and it's all there and ready to go. So again, why tars are useful. It's the same reason that you would ever use a zip file, whether that's to compress a bunch of files down into one archive that you can move, or if you just need to zip something for some reason. And then you can use both the tar command to also extract these archives as well. So that's more or less what you need to do to interact with various different files. It's a lot of touching, it's a lot of cat, it's a lot of, touching. You can touch all the files. There's a lot of, I'm not even going to go there, but there's a lot of jokes that people like to make about various different command line tools and how you use them together, none of which I'm going to repeat.